would happen if the most beautiful places on Earth were also the most dangerous? Sometimes they're forbidden lands, where the brutality is bone-chilling. These are places where peace simply doesn't exist. Danger lurks around every corner. Earth has turned them into deadly traps among the most impossible locations on the planet. They stand as a constant reminder of how small humanity is in the face of the raw, primal power of the universe. And today, Hide a Planet is taking you on a journey to explore where death and beauty coexist in every single frame. Rio Tinto River, Spain. The first thing that catches anyone's eye is the deep red, fiery orange, and vibrant yellow color of the water. This is not the result of modern industrial pollution, but a special geological phenomenon. From the time of the Carthaginians and the Romans to the 19th century British Empire, this river has witnessed a rise and fall. The landscape surrounding the river, with its enormous open-pit mines, creates a beauty that is both desolate and majestic. Rio Tinto is not for those seeking the idyllic verdant beauty of classic European landscapes. It's for those who want to witness the incredible transformative power of geology and the resilience of life. Death Valley, USA. This is the lowest, hottest, and driest part of the North American continent. Death Valley is approximately 225 kilometers long. She's stretching north-south and ranging from 8 to 24 kilometers wide. It is similar to other structural basins in the region, but unique in its depth. Part of the vast salt basin forms part of the valley floor, which are among the lowest lands in the Americas. In 1849, by a group of unfortunate migrants who endured much suffering while crossing this valley. This area remained little visited until the 1870s, when gold and silver were discovered in the surrounding mountains. Sinabung Volcano, Indonesia. For over 400 years, Sinabung was considered a dormant volcano. Local people were accustomed to seeing the lush green mountain, standing silently beside fertile fields. But in 2010, it underwent a dramatic transformation, turning into one of the most active volcanoes. Before 2010, the foothills were the region's agricultural heartland, but after a series of eruptions, dozens of villages were abandoned. Houses, schools, and even everyday objects were covered in a thick layer of grey ash. The shattered windows overlooking the still smoky mountain peaks create an eerie, melancholic, yet powerful sense of nature. Dean's Blue Hole, Bahamas, located at a depth of 663 feet in a bay west of Clarence Town on Long Island, is one of the deepest known blue holes. Blue holes are a term commonly used to describe sinkholes filled with water, with the entrance located underwater. While most other blue holes only reach a maximum depth of 360 feet, its depth makes it truly exceptional. Above the water, Dean's Blue Hole is circular, with a diameter of 82 to 115 feet. At a depth of approximately 75 feet, Dean's circular well begins to widen to about 240 feet, and spectacular sand cascades down from either side. Fish strangely emerge from the bottom, and tropical fish swim around. Shark Bay, Australia. Located at the westernmost point of the Australian continent, it is a rare ecosystem that possesses all the necessary elements. Here, you'll find seemingly ordinary rocks that are actually stromatolites reefs of living microorganisms. While most beaches in the world are made of sand or rocks, this one is covered with billions of pristine, white seashells. The salinity of the seawater makes it impossible for the natural predators of these small clams to survive. If stromatolites is a story of the past, then Monkey Mia is a story of connection to the present. Wild bottlenose dolphins frequently swim close to shore to interact with humans. Mount Everest. As Nepal known as the highest mountain in the world, it is also a symbol of ambition and resilience against nature. Part of the majestic Himalayas, it creates a spectacular landscape of glaciers, deep valleys, and snow-capped peaks. It is a magnet for professional climbers looking for the ultimate challenge. There are two main climbing routes. One approaches the summit from southeastern Nepal, and the other from northern Tibet. The mountain was identified as the world's highest peak in the 1850s by an Indian research team of the Survey of India. In 1865, it was named after Sir George Everest, the British Chief Surveyor of India, despite his own objections. Skeleton Coast, Namibia. This is one of the rare places on Earth where the desert swallows the ocean. And the sailors of old called it the Gate of Hell, while the local bush dwellers called it the land God created in his wrath. The name Skeleton Coast comes from two elements, the giant whale skeletons and the wreckage of a shipwreck. Today, as you walk along the coast, you'll see rusty ship hulls protruding from the sand like ancient monsters. Erta Ale Volcano, Ethiopia. It is a 613-meter-high basaltic shield volcano rising from the Danakil Basin. This volcano has an active lava lake in its crater that remains liquid due to convection currents from the magma system. Visually, the result is a thin charcoal-colored crust perforated by glowing red cracks of molten lava. The lava eruptions and the lack of protective railings around the crater rim have led locals to call it the gateway to hell. Conquering Erta Ale means traversing one of the world's harshest environments. Grand Canyon, USA. If the Earth were a museum, the Grand Canyon would be its most impressive exhibit. The unique aspect of this place lies not in its tranquility, but in the power of erosion. Standing on the edge of the cliff, you don't just see the scenery, you're seeing space in a completely new way. Where the boundary between sky and earth is blurred by layers of brilliantly colored rock. This is the result of the oxidation of minerals, creating a giant oil painting that no artist can perfectly replicate. Mount Washington, USA. The indigenous people called it Agiokochuk and did not climb to the summit, unbelieving it to be the dwelling place of the Great Spirit. Giovanni da Verrazzano was the first European to sight it from the sea off the coast of New Hampshire in 1524. Today, this mountain peak, now a state park, attracts more than 250,000 tourists from around the world each year. The first settlers, Abel Crawford and his son, Ethan Allen Crawford, built the first trail to the summit in 1819 today. Sahara Desert, Africa. When people think of the Sahara, they often picture towering golden sand dunes like Erg Chebi. The rest consists of rocky plateaus, arid valleys, and exposed mountain ranges. With an area of over 9 million square kilometers, it's roughly the size of the entire United States or China. Daytime temperatures can reach 50 degrees Celsius, but at night they can plummet below freezing, 0 degrees Celsius. This is the unreal places where nature forces all living things to evolve to the most extreme levels in order to survive. Yellowstone National Park, USA, established in 1872, this place also boasts the highest density of geysers in the world. Yellowstone is a unique testament to geothermal power, natural beauty, and a wild ecosystem home to rare and endangered species. As one of the few large, intact ecosystems in the northern temperate zone of the Earth, Yellowstone's ecosystems offer opportunities for conservation, research, and enjoyment of large-scale wildlife processes. This park boasts a unique collection of surface geothermal activity, unlike any other in the world, with thousands of hot springs. Fraser Island, Australia. This is the only place in the world where ancient tropical rainforests grow right on sand dunes at an altitude of over 200 meters. With over 100 freshwater lakes, most notably Lake Mackenzie, the water here is so pure that there is almost no fish life. It creates a magical shade of blue that you'd be hard to find anywhere else. According to legend, Kagari was a sacred goddess who helped the god Biril create the world. She loved the earth so much she didn't want to leave, so she lay down to become an island, with the freshwater lakes being her eyes. Victoria Falls, Zambia. It is a spectacular sight, full of beauty and majesty, on the Zambezi River. The Kololo tribe described it as Mosio Atunya because of the tremendous amount of steam and noise created by the rushing water. Victoria Falls is now also known as the world's largest curtain of water, both in width and height. The vast basalt cliff, where the waterfall cascades down, creates a thunderous roar, transforming into a powerful torrent. Opposite the waterfall is another equally high, sheer basalt cliff, covered in a humid rainforest. Madidi National Park, Bolivia. It's not just a park, it's an ecosystem stretching from the towering peaks of the Andes down to the tropical Amazon basin. Here, more than 1,000 species of birds, thousands of plant species, and rare animal species can be found. In 1981, Yaxi and 3 companions ventured into Madidi, hoping to find isolated tribes and gold and silver. After a raft accident on the Tuichi River, Yaxi was separated from his group and lost in the deep jungle without food or weapons. When he was seemingly on the verge of death, he was found by Kevin Gale on the riverbank, thus becoming a testament to unreal places. Congo River, Africa. A river in west-central Africa, 2,900 miles long, it is the second longest river on the continent, after the Nile. Its course then curves in a counterclockwise arc, flowing northwest, before emptying into the Atlantic Ocean at Banana. With its numerous tributaries, the Congo River forms the continent's largest navigable waterway network. However, its navigability is hampered by an insurmountable obstacle, a series of 32 waterfalls in the river's lower reaches. This basin is not only vast, but also covered by a dense and branching network of river tributaries. Amazon River, South America. If we consider rivers as circulatory systems, then the Amazon is the Earth's main artery. It empties into the Atlantic Ocean at a rate of approximately 209,000 cubic meters of water per second. This is home to 1/10 of the world's known species, from the rare freshwater pink dolphin to plants that can swallow sunlight. In 1541, the Spanish explorer Francisco de Orellana was the first European to traverse the entire length of the river. Orellana associated them with the Amazon warriors of Greek mythology, and thus the name Rio Amazonas was born. Annapurna Mountains, Nepal. As one of the famous mountain ranges of Nepal, Annapurna consists of many peaks of different heights. Among them, Annapurna, the highest peaks that offer breathtaking panoramic views to anyone visiting the Himalayas. For most visitors, Annapurna is known for its famous Annapurna Circuit and Annapurna Base Camp treks. The weather here is not always perfect. There are clouds, hot and cold in the same day. Gruinard Island, Scotland. Located off Gruinard Bay in northwestern Scotland, this island, viewed from afar, reveals the distinctive beauty of the Highland region. In 1942, in the midst of World War II, British military scientists at Porton Down needed a place to manufacture biological weapons. They chose the volume 14,578 variant, an extremely virulent strain of bacteria. An anthrax spore bomb was detonated above a flock of sheep brought to the island, and the entire flock died within days. They didn't disappear after the explosion, but seeped deep into the ground, turning into a dead zone and becoming unreal places. Mary Gorge, Antarctica. This ice-filled canyon reaches 3.5 kilometers below sea level. Only in the ocean are the valleys deeper still. This discovery is illustrated in a new map of the White Continent, showing the shape of the bedrock beneath the ice. Its characteristics will be crucial to understanding what changes might occur in the future at the South Pole. For comparison, the lowest point on Earth's exposed landmass at the shores of the Dead Sea is only 413 meters above sea level. For decades, radar systems have been deployed across Antarctica, emitting microwave pulses to penetrate the ice. But there are still vast areas where little or no data is collected. Miyake-jima Island and Japan, located in the Izu Islands, about 180 kilometers from Tokyo, the most iconic image associated with this place is the ethereal mist. This is not a dormant mountain. It is a fiery giant with an astonishing frequency of eruptions. Due to geological activity, the concentration of sulfur in the air here is consistently high. This has led to a historical regulation. Everyone must always carry a gas mask with them. In 2000, Mount Oyama erupted violently, forcing the entire population to evacuate urgently. For the next 5 years, Miyake-jima became a ghost island, deserted, with only ash and toxic fumes. Cliffs of Moher, Ireland. Even if you've never been to Ireland, chances are you've heard of the Cliffs of Moher. While not the highest coastal cliffs in Ireland, they are one of the most accessible. Standing on the edge of the cliffs, you'll be able to gaze out and enjoy the magnificent view of the endless Atlantic Ocean. But conquering these cliffs can be more difficult than you think. as the weather in Ireland is often rainy and unpredictable. Not only that, it's also a popular tourist destination, attracting many visitors from all over Ireland every day. These cliffs are considered part of the magnificent Wild Atlantic Way coastal route that stretches along the west coast of Ireland. Boiling Lake, Dominica. With a diameter of approximately 60 meters, this is the second largest boiling lake in the world. At the edges of the lake, the temperature fluctuates around 82 to 92 degrees Celsius, but in the very center, where water boils, the temperature cannot even be measured accurately on a regular basis because it is too dangerous. The lake's surface is always covered by a thick, white fog. The water often has a mystical grayish-blue color due to the mixture of minerals and sulfur. The Wharfe River, England. Outwardly, it looks like a gentle little stream, with water trickling over mossy rocks. Many tourists mistakenly believe they can easily jump over or step into the cool water. However, the death rate here is rumored to be 100% once you fall in. The chances of survival are almost zero. Instead of flowing widely across the surface, the entire massive volume of water in the Wharfe River is compressed. If you were to fall in, your body would be sucked tightly into the underground rock formations by the current. Drakensberg Mountains, South Africa. The indigenous Zulu people call it Ukalamba, which means barrier of spears. This mountain range is home to the highest concentration of rock paintings in sub-Saharan Africa. For over 4,000 years, the San people have transformed the caves into giant diaries. They depicted their eland hunting expeditions, ecstatic dances, and the spiritual connection between humans and nature. Standing atop Sentinel Peak, the only sound you hear is the wind whistling through the rocks. Snake Island, Brazil. It's not just an ordinary island, it's a nightmare for some, but an invaluable biological treasure. Snake Island became infamous for its golden lancehead viper. Beginning approximately 11,000 years ago, and rising sea levels severed the waterway connecting the island to mainland Brazil. The snakes trapped on the island had no natural predators, but also no prey on land. Because birds can fly away if the venom doesn't take effect immediately, this snake possesses an extremely potent venom. Skellig Michael Ravine, Ireland. Located off the coast of County Kerry, Ireland, the most distinctive feature of this place is its steep gorges and rocky steps. The island is actually a rocky outcrop rising from the sea, constantly battered by Atlantic winds. To reach the monastery at its summit, approximately 218 meters high, the monks carved over 600 handcrafted stone steps. Despite their seemingly barren appearance, these gorges are home to thousands of puffins, creating a vibrant scene. In 1996, the island was recognized as a World Heritage Site not only for its historical value, but also for its unspoiled preservation. Pantanal swamps, Brazil. Located in Brazil and extending into Bolivia and Paraguay, it is one of the largest and most biodiverse wetland areas in the world. Often referred to as the Serengeti of South America, the Pantanal experiences significant seasonal flooding. This unique ecosystem supports a vast amount of wildlife, including over 650 species of birds and numerous mammal species. The name Pantanal comes from the Portuguese word meaning swamp, a term that quite accurately describes the area. The region is mostly flat, with small variations in elevation, resulting in large variations in water surface area. Mount Nyiragongo Volcano. It's not just an ordinary volcano. It boasts the world's largest and most active lava lake. Viewed from above, the crater resembles a fiery eye of the Earth. The surging waves of bright red lava create a spectacle that is both awe-inspiring and makes one feel insignificant. Nyiragongo's lava has an extremely low silica content, giving it incredibly low viscosity. The lava here flows as fast as water, reaching speeds of up to 100 kilometers per hour, making escaping when it erupts a true race against time. Hanakapiai Beach, USA. Located on the northern coast of Kauai, at a point 2 miles along the Kalalau Trail. The hike to Hanakapiai Beach from Key Beach is the easiest section of the entire 11-mile Kalalau Trail. The trail runs along the famous Napali coast and offers spectacular views along the way. Kauai's terrain makes conditions even more dangerous, in case of being swept away by a strong current. Mekong River Laos. The Mekong River acts as a virtual coastline, stretching over 1,800 kilometers along the entire length of the country. In Laos, the river transforms from treacherous rapids to wide, open waterways dotted with thousands of small islands. The people of Laos believe that deep within the Mekong River lies the kingdom of the Naga. They believe the Naga are guardians, watching over the river and bestowing its fertility. Every year at the end of the Buddhist Lent, the phenomenon of the Mekong fireballs, flying fireballs, remains an unsolved mystery. Dalol Volcano, Ethiopia. It is an ash cone volcano in the Danakil Depression, although its unique geology means it lacks any typical volcanic features. Instead, it is a vibrant tapestry of green, red, and yellow hues spread across hundreds of acidic hot springs and salt mounds. Hydrothermal activity beneath the Dalol crater is the cause of this diverse landscape. As groundwater diffuses from the highlands, it is heated by the lava below, dissolving salts and other minerals in the process. These minerals are oxidized, creating saturated, colorful hot springs. The high temperatures of Danakil then evaporate the water, leaving behind blocks of colorful salt that mark the boundaries. Taylor Glacier, Antarctica. The most famous highlight at Taylor Glacier is Blood Falls. Imagine a deep red waterfall, like blood, cascading from a white ice cliff into the frozen West Bonny Lake. When first discovered in 1911 by explorer Griffith Taylor, it was thought to be caused by a type of red algae. In reality, this water originates from a salt lake located 400 meters deep beneath a glacier. When the water comes into contact with the air at the surface, the iron oxidizes and turns a brilliant red, exactly like how iron rusts. Lake Natron, Tanzania. Located in northern Tanzania, near the border with neighboring Kenya, Lake Natron lies northeast of the Ngorongoro crater. The landscape is dominated by Oldoinyo Lengai, an active volcano located just south of Lake Natron. This lake, with a maximum length of 56 kilometers, is primarily supplied with water from rivers and hot springs. Because water cannot drain from the lake, the rate of evaporation is very high, leaving behind natron and trona. Tsingy de Bemaraha, Madagascar. This reserve in the west encompasses karst landscapes and limestone plateaus carved into impressive Tsingy peaks. and a forest of needle-shaped limestone, spectacular canyons of the Manambalo River, rolling hills, and high mountain peaks. Primitive forests, lakes, and mangroves are home to rare and endangered lemurs and birds. These sites contain a spectacular array of endemic and endangered biodiversity, including baobab trees and flame trees. Kilauea Volcano, Hawaii, USA. This is a shield volcano, and not a cataclysmic eruption like in Hollywood movies. It typically erupts with slow but persistent streams of molten basalt lava flowing into the sea and cooling, creating new land. According to native Hawaiian legend, Kilauea is the home of Pele. She was a goddess with a fierce, passionate, and volatile personality. People believe that lava is her embodiment. The eruption is an expression of rage or longing for a loved one. Jacob's Well Waterfall, USA, located on the grounds of the Jacob's Well Natural Area, managed by the Hays County Parks Department. Until modern times, the natural springs erupting from the cave mouth were fed by the Trinity Aquifer. This system was discovered and mapped by cave divers of the Jacob's Well Discovery Project. The passage extends approximately 4,500 feet from the surface to a maximum depth of 137 feet. This cave is also a draw for scuba divers, some of whom lack experience with specialized techniques and equipment. Death Pass, Bolivia. Located in Bolivia's Yungas region, this road connects the capital La Paz with the town of Coroico. It's not just a road, it's a delicate ribbon clinging to the sheer cliffs of the Andes. You begin at La Cumbre Pass at an altitude of approximately 4,650 meters and descend to a drop of 1,200 meters. The road was built in the 1930s during the Chaco War by Paraguayan prisoners of war. They had to chisel into the rock face using the most rudimentary tools. Rio Tinto River, Spain. The first thing that catches anyone's eye is the deep red, fiery orange, and vibrant yellow color of the water. This is not the result of modern industrial pollution, but a special geological phenomenon. From the time of the Cartesians and the Romans to the 19th century British Empire, this river has witnessed a rise and fall. The landscape surrounding the river, with its enormous open-pit mines, creates a beauty that is both desolate and majestic. Rio Tinto is not for those seeking the idyllic verdant beauty of classic European landscapes. It's for those who want to witness the incredible transformative power of geology and the resilience of life. Death Valley, USA. This is the lowest, hottest, and driest part of the North American continent. Death Valley is approximately 225 kilometers long. She's stretching north-south and ranging from 8 to 24 kilometers wide. It is similar to other structural basins in the region, but unique in its depth. Part of the vast salt basin forms part of the valley floor, which are among the lowest lands in the Americas. In 1849, by a group of unfortunate migrants who endured much suffering while crossing this valley. This area remained little visited until the 1870s, when gold and silver were discovered in the surrounding mountains. Sinabung Volcano, Indonesia. For over 400 years, Sinabung was considered a dormant volcano. Local people were accustomed to seeing the lush green mountain, standing silently beside fertile fields. But in 2010, it underwent a dramatic transformation, turning into one of the most active volcanoes. Before 2010, the foothills were the region's agricultural heartland, but after a series of eruptions, dozens of villages were abandoned. Houses, schools, and even everyday objects were covered in a thick layer of grey ash. The shattered windows overlooking the still smoky mountain peaks create an eerie, melancholic, yet powerful sense of nature. Dean's Blue Hole, Bahamas, located at a depth of 663 feet in a bay west of Clarence Town on Long Island, is one of the deepest known blue holes. Blue holes are a term commonly used to describe sinkholes filled with water, with the entrance located underwater. While most other blue holes only reach a maximum depth of 360 feet, its depth makes it truly exceptional. Above the water, Dean's Blue Hole is circular, with a diameter of 82 to 115 feet. At a depth of approximately 75 feet, Dean's circular well begins to widen to about 240 feet, and spectacular sand cascades down from either side. Fish strangely emerge from the bottom, and tropical fish swim around. Palm Jumeirah, man-made boulevard Dubai. If I had to use one word to describe the feeling of walking along the backbone of Palm Island, I would use awe-inspiring. This is not simply a real estate project. It's proof that Dubai can turn the impossible into reality. As you venture deeper into the palm groves, privacy and tranquility prevail. Here, seawater surrounds you on all sides, creating a striking contrast to the intense heat of the desert outside. Frankly, Palm Jumeirah is most beautiful when viewed from an airplane or helicopter. Only then can you fully appreciate its perfect symmetry and immense scale. Everything here is designed for luxury, from private beaches to Michelin-starred restaurants. However, as someone who has experienced it, I find rush hour traffic to be a nightmare. Burj Khalifa, UAE. Incredible feat of architecture and engineering. This building boasts an observation deck on the 124th floor. This tallest building in the world rises 828 meters and was inaugurated in January 2010. Standing at an altitude of 452 to 555 meters, and looking down, Dubai appears like a Lego toy model. And you know what? Building this monster took almost 6 years, with 12,000 workers simultaneously working at the highest point. Using 110,000 tons of concrete and 55,000 tons of steel. Cost $1.5 billion. Inspired by the Hymenocallis flower, the design features 3 tapered petals forming a super-stable Y shape that resists wind. This Y-shaped buttressed core technology is one of Skidmore, Owings and Merrill's most outstanding inventions. Tokyo, Skytree Tower, Japan. If Tokyo Tower is the nostalgic soul of the 1950s, then Tokyo Skytree is an affirmation of Japan's future. At 634 meters high, this number is no coincidence. In Japanese, 634 is pronounced Musashi, the ancient name of this land. Your first point of contact isn't the vista, it's the elevator soaring from ground level to 350 meters in a mere 50 seconds. Reaching the 450th floor, you'll experience Tembo Galleria, a gently sloping spiral glass corridor. Even if you buy tickets in advance, waiting in the elevator is still a test of patience at impossible places. If you hate crowds, the feeling of being crammed into an elevator can be a bit unpleasant. From the cost of the entrance ticket to the 450th floor, souvenir photos to the food at Musashi Sky Restaurant, everything is very expensive. Panama Canal, Panama. It is a strategic artificial waterway, approximately 82 kilometers long, that cuts across the Isthmus of Panama. One of the world's greatest engineering feats, helping ships save approximately 15,000 kilometers of travel time. Along with a system of locks that lifted the ship to a height of nearly 26 to 27 meters above sea level. Using fresh water from the artificial Gatun Lake to pump the boat up and then lower it back down is an extremely complex idea. Completed by the United States in 1914, the original work was a marvel, but the third set of locks expansion is the true highlight. Panama is spending over $5.25 billion of its own money to build a new lane and a third lock. Since 2016, thousands of Neo-Panamax vessels have passed through, bringing Panama billions of dollars in fees each year. Marina Bay Sands, Singapore. The most striking architectural feature when standing at the base of these three 55-story towers is their 26-degree incline. Imagine Tower 1 leaning so much that engineers had to calculate to the millimeter to keep it from toppling over before it could be joined with the other structure. Above is a 340-meter-long ship that connects the three tower peaks into a single, unified structure. This is a true marvel of engineering because it has to allow the three towers to swing independently in the wind. Before 2010, the iconic image of Singapore was the Malayan statue. After 2010, it became MBS. With a total investment of approximately $8 billion, this is one of the most expensive mixed-use projects on the planet. But looking at the revenue and the number of visitors, this is a highly profitable investment. The Great Pyramid of Giza, Egypt. It sits on a rocky plateau on the west bank of the Nile River in northern Egypt. It was built by Khufu, the second king of the 4th dynasty of Egypt, and was completed in the early 25th century BC. Often considered one of the 7 wonders of the world, they are the last of these wonders to survive today. The Great Pyramid is one of the largest structures ever built. Originally, it was about 147 meters tall, but erosion and the removal of most of the polished limestone slabs the polished exterior cladding, which made the structure smooth and gleaming in the sunlight, reduced the pyramid's perceived height. The interior walls, as well as some remaining exterior cladding slabs, reveal joints more intricate than any other construction. It is the most vivid evidence of humankind 4,500 years ago, which we still don't fully understand. The Great Wall of China. Many people mistakenly believe the Great Wall of China is simply a fence built in impossible places. In reality, it is an incredibly clever, multi-layered defense system. With rudimentary communication systems, watchtowers were strategically placed. The top of the rampart was wide enough for 5 horses to run side by side. This served as an elevated highway, allowing the army to move quickly across rugged terrain without being ambushed. It is proof that humans can subdue nature to serve political purposes. Beijing Daxing International Airport, China. Beijing's second international airport is renowned for its unique starfish design and modern facilities. Opened in September 2019, it is located approximately 46 kilometers south of the city center. Viewed from above, it resembles a giant phoenix, spreading its wings, a design characteristic of Zaha Hadid. In addition, the vast open space and abundant natural light, thanks to hundreds of skylights, create a spacious and luxurious feel. It only takes an 8-minute walk from the city center to the furthest gate. A major upgrade from older hubs like Beijing Capital, where you're stuck walking forever or waiting for shuttles. It represents China's ambition to be a symbol of advancement and high technology. Millau Viaduct, France. Stepping onto the bridge, you don't feel the raw power of its construction first, but rather its weightlessness. From a distance, the bridge looks like a delicate thread hanging over the Tarn River Valley. But once you roll up there, you're at a maximum height of 343 meters taller than the Eiffel Tower in impossible places. On foggy mornings, the entire bridge disappears into a blanket of white clouds, leaving only the towering spires visible. It feels more like you're piloting a spaceship on a ribbon suspended in mid-air than walking on a road bridge. It was the collaboration between renowned architect Norman Foster and structural engineer Michel Villajou that created a marvel. It's not just a road. It's a gateway to heaven, connecting different lands. Hoover Dam, USA. A massive concrete arch, gravity dam, lies on the border between Nevada and Arizona. It's a remarkable feat of modern engineering. Located about 30 miles southeast of Las Vegas, it's a major tourist attraction. $3.25 million cubic yards of concrete were used, enough to pave a road from San Francisco to New York City. Above all, they completed it 2 years ahead of schedule, despite extremely harsh conditions. The unique curved arch gravity design, water pressing against the cliffs on either side, further strengthened the dam. Even today, it still provides water for approximately 16 to 25 million people and irrigates over 1.5 million acres of land. A symbol of American daredevil spirit in the 1930s. Angkor Wat, Cambodia. Covering about 400 square miles of forest land, the Angkor Archaeological Park features the majestic ruins of former capital cities. These include the famous Angkor Wat Temple, and at Angkor, Tom the Bayon Temple, with its countless decorative sculptures. As the first rays of sunlight fall, the entire temple is brilliantly reflected in the lotus pond, creating a perfect symmetry. Walking along corridors stretching for miles, touching the exquisitely carved stone reliefs, you will feel the lingering passion of thousands of artisans from the 12th century. These massive blocks of sandstone, weighing tons, are polished smooth and stacked so tightly that no mortar is needed. This is a masterful dry stone joining technique that even modern machinery would envy. Machu Picchu, Peru. Known as the lost city of the Incas due to its exquisite stonework terraces and temples. This place was built as a royal residence for Emperor Pachacuti. It became famous upon its rediscovery in 1911, becoming a UNESCO World Heritage Site and an important global landmark. These are massive stone walls stacked tightly together without a single drop of mortar. The agricultural terraces wind, as if carved directly into the mountain, surrounded by lush green peaks that touch the clouds. Architecturally, the Incas built their structures in 1450, and even today, scientists don't fully understand how they did it. Tons of stone fitted so tightly that even a piece of paper won't slide through alongside intricate irrigation and exact celestial orientation. Taj Mahal, India. What makes the Taj Mahal the pinnacle of Mughal architecture is its obsession with symmetry. From the four surrounding minarets to the Shahbagh Gardens, everything mirrors each other. The towers are actually built slightly angled outwards in the middle of impossible places. The Taj Mahal does not have a single fixed color. The white Makrana marble material has a magical ability to reflect light. Seen from afar, the Taj Mahal is a grand masterpiece. Up close, it is a marvel of breathtaking meticulousness. Thousands of precious and semi-precious stones are embedded directly into the marble to create floral patterns. As you touch the stone, you marvel at how such exquisite craftsmanship was possible back in the 17th century. Sydney Opera House, Australia. First, let's talk about the appearance of those giant white sails located along the Sydney Harbour waterfront. With an initial estimate of only around 7 million Australian dollars at the time, it eventually ballooned to more than 14 times that amount. Bennelong Point's foundation turned out to be loose waterlogged alluvial soil, forcing engineers to drive in 700 massive concrete piles. Utzon's initial domes were stunning, but seemed impossible to construct. It took several years of work before he discovered the solution. Entrance fee is approximately 40 Australian dollars for a 1-hour tour. And it's open daily from 8:45 a.m. to 5 p.m., closed on Good Friday, Christmas Day, and New Year's Eve. Huajiang Viaduct, China. As part of the Liuji-Anlong Expressway, when completed, it will officially dethrone the world's highest bridge. With a height of approximately 625 meters above the river level. To compare, if you drop a stone from a bridge, it would take a very long time before you hear the sound from the abyss below. Towering amidst the limestone cliffs of Guizhou, the bridge looks like a fragile steel thread, piercing the mist with immense strength. Construction at this height requires the world's tallest tower cranes and an extremely complex cable car system for transporting materials. Technically speaking, we must take our hats off to the engineering and wind control capabilities of the engineers at an altitude of 625 meters. The bridge had to be designed to withstand the raging storms that swept through the gorge without shaking. It's not just a transportation achievement, it's an outdoor laboratory for the world's largest span suspension bridge technology. Grand Egyptian Museum, Egypt. This is the world's largest archaeological museum dedicated to a single civilization. It houses over 100,000 artifacts, including the entire collection of King Tutankhamun displayed together for the first time. Architects from Hennigan Peng undertook an extraordinary feat by following lightning strikes toward the Giza pyramids. Located on the Giza Plateau, just about 2 kilometers from the pyramids, this visual connection creates a perfect time corridor. Upon entering the main hall, you will be confronted with a colossal 3,200-year-old statue of Ramses II. For the first time in history, all 5,400 artifacts from the tomb of King Tutankhamun are on display together. Previously, these items were scattered among different museums or stored in warehouses. The chronological and logical arrangement helps visitors understand the life, death, and journey to the afterlife of this young king. The Clock Towers, Saudi Arabia. Completed in 2012, this is the 4th tallest building in the world. The central clock tower is 1,972 feet tall. The Burj Al Bait complex has a floor area of approximately 16 million square feet, including a hotel and a shopping mall. The tower is the world's tallest concrete structure, features the tallest clock, and has the largest clock face. Approximately 15 to 16 billion US dollars, such a huge sum was poured into a massive hotel and clock complex right next to the sacred site. To build, they razed the Ajiad Fortress Hill and many other ancient structures. Many Islamic scholars and international historians have heavily criticized the loss of Mecca's cultural and historical heritage. Ain Dubai, United Arab Emirates. If you stand at the base of Ain Dubai, your first impression is one of awe. To put it into perspective, it's 250 meters tall, almost twice the height of the London Eye in the United Kingdom. The project consumed approximately 9,000 tons of steel, more than the amount used to build the Eiffel Tower. When the cabin reaches the top, you can enjoy a panoramic view of the entire Dubai skyline. What truly impresses you even more is the altitude and the tranquility. Even with strong sea breezes, you feel almost no shaking inside the cabin. The cabin is so spacious, it could fit a party, and it has an incredibly smart air conditioning system. The great thing about this project is that they categorize the experience from standard observation cabins to conference cabins. Ain Dubai is proof that nothing is impossible. It's not just an entertainment game, but a symbol of human ambition. Golden Gate Bridge, United States. Spanning the California Strait, it connects San Francisco with Marin County to the north. When completed in 1937, it was the world's highest and longest suspension bridge. It is recognized as a symbol of American strength and progress, and it has set a precedent for suspension bridge design worldwide. Initially, they planned to paint it yellow or gray to blend in with the fog, but architect Irving Morrow chose a striking orange-red. From a distance, the bridge looks like it's drifting through the clouds, a true engineering feat that captures everyone's heart. Even now, nearly 90 years later, it still withstands earthquakes, storms, and tens of millions of vehicles pass by every year. Looking up at the cable curving and disappearing into the distance, it felt like standing before a true wonder. Gardens by the Bay, Singapore. Standing at the foot of these structures, which are 25 to 50 meters high, you'll feel incredibly small. This is the perfect combination of aesthetics and functionality. These super trees integrate solar panels, cooling, misting systems, and even air vents for greenhouses. It transforms lifeless blocks of steel into a vibrant ecosystem. Gardens by the Bay is proof that humans can correct their mistakes with nature using technology. Singapore has transformed a barren reclaimed land into a global tourism icon and a center for the conservation of rare plants. It was a crazy investment, but an extremely smart one in terms of national branding. Kavda Solar Park, India. This hybrid renewable energy park is expected to become the world's largest hybrid renewable energy park. With an area of approximately 726 square kilometers, it's about 7 times the size of Paris and nearly the same size as Singapore. Developed by Adani Green Energy, the park aims to reach a capacity of 30 gigawatts by 2029, providing electricity to 16 million households. Construction began in 2022, facing numerous challenges, such as high salinity, severe dust storms, and a lack of infrastructure. The project includes extensive infrastructure, such as a desalination plant worker, housing 100 kilometers of roads and a 50-kilometer drainage system. Aiming to offset 58 million tons of greenhouse gas emissions annually, this will significantly contribute to renewable energy targets. This location was strategically chosen due to its high solar radiation and strong wind speeds. It plays a crucial role in India's transition to clean energy, which is expected to reach full capacity within the next 5 years. Falkirk Wheels, Scotland. With its double-axe design, it combines the classic charm of Scotland with a futuristic feel. To understand why it's amazing, we must look at history. Previously, connecting the Forth and Clyde and Union Canals required a system of 11 interconnected locks. Instead of restoring the old system, the engineers chose a crazy approach, rotating the ship in mid-air. What amazed me most during the experience was the Archimedes principle. The two water tanks always have the same weight, whether there is a ship inside or not. Thanks to this perfect balance, the system only requires the same amount of electricity as boiling 8 electric kettles. You heard that right, only about 1.5 kilowatt hours per operation. Merdeka 118, Malaysia. Formerly known as Menara Warisan Merdeka KL118 and PN B118, it is a 118-story, super tall skyscraper in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. At 678.9 meters tall, it is the second tallest building and structure in the world, after the Burj Khalifa, which is 829.8 meters tall. The name Merdeka means independence, associated with Malaysia's National Day. The spire, towering 160 meters high, is shaped like the Minangkabau crown. Very Malay, very distinctive. Seen from a distance, it looks like a giant arrow piercing straight up into the sky, standing next to the Petronas Twin Towers and KL Tower. This is a huge boost to Malaysian national pride. Transforming from just Petronas to global top 2, this Southeast Asian nation has proven its massive investment potential. The Merdeka 118 area has also driven development in the surrounding region, transforming it into a new center. The entire construction cost of approximately $1.5 billion came from Permadalan National Berhad. Not just because of its height, but because it represents the ambition of a Southeast Asian nation to assert its global standing. Bailong Elevator, China. Nestled against the sheer cliffs of the Wulingyuan Nature Reserve, the Bailong Elevator is more than just a means of transportation. It is a declaration of humanity's ability to conquer nature. If you stand at the foot of the mountain and look up, Bailong resembles a gleaming metallic ribbon piercing the blue sky. But the real wonder lies in the feeling when the elevator doors close. For the first 30 meters, the elevator travels through the pitch-black interior of the mountain. But then a magical world lights up as the elevator emerges from the cliff face. Despite moving at incredibly high speeds, the operation is unbelievably smooth. You don't feel like you're in an elevator. You feel like you're being lifted by a giant hand. When you reach the summit and look down from the observation deck into the deep valley below, only then will you truly appreciate the magnificence of Mother Nature and the daring spirit of the engineers who created this structure. Yaxi Expressway, China. This route, officially a 240-kilometer section of the G5 Beijing-Kunming Expressway, known as the Aerial Road or Trapezoidal Aerial Road, It connects the cities of Ya'an and Shichan. The ascent to the 2,200-meter mark from the trailhead corresponds to a gradient of 7.5 meters per kilometer. The route includes 270 overpasses and 25 tunnels, with bridges and tunnels accounting for more than half of its total length. To traverse steep mountains while maintaining safe gradients, engineers have used unique double helix tunnels. For example, the Ganhaizi and Tiejaizi tunnels were the first tunnels of their kind globally. This iconic structure boasts one of the world's tallest bridge piers, standing at 182.5 meters high. It utilizes a unique hollow box structure made of angle steel to withstand seismic activity. Construction began in 2007 and was completed in April 2012 with a total investment of approximately 20.6 billion yuan. It serves as a crucial economic corridor for rural revitalization and facilitates easier access to tourist destinations. Marisfrog Pavilion. Designed by the architectural firm Architecture Studio, but heavily influenced by Antoni Gaudi's biomorphism style. Viewed from above, this formation resembles giant leaves, butterfly wings, or the scales of a prehistoric reptile. There are no straight lines. Everything is curved, wavy, and interwoven. futuristic in design, yet clad in millions of recycled ceramic stone and glass shards. The project took approximately 15 years to complete. While China is famous for building highways in weeks and skyscrapers in months, Marisfrolg is a luxuriously slow, low note. Phoenix Center, positioned at the southwest corner of Chaoyang Park in Beijing, featuring a 65,000 square meters floor area and a height of 55 meters. The design is inspired by the Mobius strip, combining it with a distorted torus to create a giant hovering spiral. With a 100% local design team, it eschews foreign celebrity architects, unlike so many other iconic projects. In addition, the asymmetrical steel structure, expansive interior, and seamless spiral staircase evoke a sense of infinite space. Integrates diverse functions: television studio, office, exhibition, space media production. It represents Beijing's race to create iconic architecture to assert its soft superpower status. Raffles City, dubbed an unreal project by many, it looks exactly like a UFO landed amidst the ancient cityscape. What makes this project seem impractical is the crystal, a 300-meter-long, 12,000-ton horizontal building. Chongqing is a land of steep slopes and is also located in an area prone to seismic activity. Installing a massive steel structure connecting the towers was an engineering nightmare in impossible places. Instead of permanently attaching the crystal to the towers, engineers slide it onto seismically isolated supports. This is an impractical design realized through cutting-edge technology. Guangzhou Circle. With its shape as a giant, upright circle, it stands 138 meters tall and has 33 floors. Along with a central hole, nearly 48 meters in diameter, almost a giant, reinforced concrete donut. Designed by Italian architect Joseph Di Pasquale, but clearly bearing a strong Chinese influence. Inspired by ancient coins, the concept of yin and yang feng shui, and even the idea of round sky and square earth. This is a prime example of the bizarre architecture era that Xi Jinping publicly criticized in 2014. Great Green Wall, launched in 1978 and projected to last until 2050, the project is located between impossible places. It creates a green belt over 4,500 kilometers long to block sand from the Gobi Desert from spreading into Beijing. With a record number of over 66 billion trees already planted. If completed, it would increase the world's forest area by approximately 10% compared to the 1970s. However, Western critics and scientists often expressed skepticism about this project for very valid reasons. Mass planting of trees without proper care and in unsuitable soil conditions results in a very high mortality rate. In many places, trees are planted haphazardly to achieve targets and then neglected. Chongqing mountainous terrain meets crazy urbanization, thousands of high-rises on steep hills and 8-level winding roads. This is the ultimate testament to China's technical prowess and political determination. No other country would dare transform a rugged mountainous region into a megacity like this in just a few decades. It solves the problems of a massive population, rapid industrialization, and creates a unique tourism brand. Chongqing isn't some kind of surreal, ghostly project, but rather a hyper-realistic, almost illogical one. Something only China dared to do, could do, and made a reality. Kilauea Ocean Kingdom, truly an unreal project. Its scale and cost challenge both engineering limits and deep pockets. Located in Zhuhai, this project is not just an amusement park, but a force challenging even giants like Disney and Universal. Upon its opening, Kilauea Ocean Kingdom didn't just simply open its doors, it shattered all previous world records. This park has already amassed 5 Guinness World Records with a total water volume of nearly 49 million liters. And as the largest single aquarium tank, the giant whale shark tank contains approximately 22.7 million liters of water. Yaxi Expressway. It is known as our heavenly road, expressway in the clouds. Or simply, the road above the clouds. More than infrastructure, it's a poem of steel and concrete etched into Sichuan's Grand Mountains. This project, launched in 2007, cost over 20 billion yuan, a staggering sum in this remote and rugged mountainous region. Chinese engineers faced 12 seismic fault zones, hundreds of underground caves, erupting groundwater springs. As a result, the Yaxi Expressway won the James T. Yao Award, the most prestigious award in Chinese civil engineering. Three Gorges Dam. It is a symbol of the ambition to conquer nature and also a focal point of the environment and geology. Calling it unrealistic also has its merits, because its scale challenges all conventional limits of impossible places. To see why it's deemed unrealistic, look at its scale: enough steel to build 63 Eiffel Towers. Along with the enormous amount of water that accumulated, it became so large that it altered the Earth's moment of inertia. It was a resounding success in terms of technology and clean energy, but it remains an unhealed ecological wound. Chengdu SK Park. It is truly one of the most massive and controversial projects in China's luxury retail scene in recent years. Opened in late 2022, it is still referred to today as a symbol of Asia's ultimate Chinese luxury. In terms of design and scale, almost the entire luxury retail section is located underground. SKP Chengdu is still attracting quite a lot of customers compared to the average luxury mall in China today. Many call it a luxury Disneyland for adults rather than a sustainable shopping mall. This is vivid proof that China can achieve things that most other countries can only dream of on paper. Tianlong Mountain Road. This project is actually part of the transportation network leading to the Tianlong Sun Cave tourist area. The highlight that makes it famous is the three-tiered spiral overpass. In the middle of impossible places. Along with its shocking specifications, the bridge is 350 meters high and uses over 7,000 tons of steel. The engineers used a spiral design to reduce the slope, much like driving through a giant multi-story parking garage. Experts call this a symbolic project rather than a practical one aimed at flexing China's status as a global infrastructure giant. Great Wall of China. From the 7th century BC vassal, states began constructing the first sections of walls for defense. But much of what we admire today is a masterpiece of the Ming dynasty with a total length of approximately 8,850 kilometers. What always moves me most is the construction process, a story that is both tragic and heartbreaking. Millions of civilians, soldiers, prisoners, and farmers were mobilized and worked in the harshest conditions. Using rammed earth stone brick and even sticky rice mortar, these structures remain solid even after 600 years. Sheraton Who's Ho. To call this an unreal project, we must view it as a fusion of wild ambition and master engineering. Architect Ma Yansong didn't intend to build a cake. He was inspired by the ancient stone bridges in Chinese ink paintings. But in reality, netizens around the world have given it more blunt nicknames, such as the Horseshoe Hotel or the Donut Hotel. With a total investment of approximately $1.5 billion for 27 floors, that works out to about $55 million per floor. This is an exorbitant price, even by ultra-luxury hotel standards. Deep Earth exploration projects. Set an Asian record with an 11,000-meter vertical well, with reports of completing Asia's deepest well by early 2025. This is a rare depth in the world, second only to the Kola Super Deep Borehole record of the former Soviet Union. The drilling speed surpassed depths of 8,000 meters to 10,000 meters in just 4 months, thanks to high-pressure technology and heavy equipment. Focused on Earth's crust, geological history, earthquake forecasting, and ultra-deep exploration of oil, gas, and geothermal energy. To achieve a distance of 15 kilometers in 10 years without any major incidents would be a feat of 21st century engineering. Gate to the east. This 301-meter-tall tower was designed by the British firm RMJM with a romantic initial concept. But through that, it serves as a cultural gateway modeled after the image of a traditional Chinese city gate. Located at a strategic intersection within the Suzhou industrial zone, it is expected to be a symbol of the city's powerful resurgence. Strategically located in Suzhou Industrial Park, it is set to symbolize the city's powerful rise. Despite architects' talk of soft curves or cultural heritage, locals dubbed it the Big Pants as soon as the frame was finished. Gupitan Shiplift. It is one of the craziest and most impressive engineering feats that China has accomplished in the past decade. With a structure of 3 consecutive vertical ship elevators connected by water tunnels, aqueducts, and intermediate channels. A 500-ton ship can be lifted or lowered in 10 to 15 minutes per level, taking 40 to 60 minutes for the entire route. If the Three Gorges shiplift could lift a 3,000-ton, 113-meter-tall ship in a single operation. but Gupitan broke the record for height and complexity. It is proving that with money, technology, and political will, they can turn geographically impossible things into reality. Jiangsu Rudong offshore wind farm. Built in a tidal zone with shifting water levels ranging from bone dry to 5 meters deep. Installing giant turbines on muddy ground where ships have difficulty accessing is an extremely challenging task. China developed specialized barges and lifting gear to operate amid extreme tides in these impossible places. The project's sheer scale is evident. Each year, these wind farms provide billions of kilowatt-hours of clean power, cutting millions of tons of CO2 emissions. Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge. It is one of China's most iconic infrastructure projects of the past 2 decades, but also a classic example of an unrealistic project. Costing $18 to $20 billion, funded mainly by mainland China, with contributions from Hong Kong and Macau. Construction left at least 18 workers dead amid scandals over falsified concrete quality test data. In other words, the project, once considered a terrible waste of money, is now gradually proving its long-term economic value. High costs, low short-term gains, and zero transparency, a showcase of China can do what the world can't. Taklamakan Desert Highway. From the engineering theories of the last century, building a permanent road across the Sea of Death was insane. But the mistake lies in the fact that China not only made it a reality, but is also operating it in an extremely systematic way. To understand why this project is shocking, look at the rivals of the Taklamakan Desert engineers. This is the world's second-largest shifting sand desert. 85% of its area consists of constantly shifting sand dunes. Building roads here is like trying to draw a straight line on a rippling surface of water. Qingdao Bay Bridge. Many people mistakenly believe that ghost cities are abandoned places left deserted after disasters. In reality, in China, they are brand new modern cities that are uninhabited. Local authorities rely on real estate to boost GDP. They believe that by building impressive infrastructure, people and businesses will naturally flock there. China's Ghost Cities project is one of the greatest economic experiments in human history. It demonstrates the power of the state in shaping geography, but also reveals the dark side of rapid growth based on debt. Ghost cities. Contrary to popular belief, these are not ruined cities. Conversely, they are brand new, modern, and fully equipped cities. The only issue, their empty local authorities over-relied on land sales and infrastructure to boost GDP. They built on the belief of build it and they will come, but migration can't keep up with the pace of excavators. To build these megacities, local governments borrowed enormous sums of money through financial instruments. When vacant properties become unprofitable, these debts turn into time bombs, threatening national financial stability. Beijing Daxing. In terms of construction, this is unrealistic in a positive sense. China has accomplished things that other countries took decades to achieve. With its starfish-shaped structure, it's not just for aesthetics. It solves the core problem of mega airports. With a total investment of approximately $11 to $12 billion, Daxing was designed to accommodate 100 million visitors per year. Yet running this energy-hungry beast without full tourism recovery is a short-term financial drain. If the Chinese economy continues to grow and open up, this will be a shining crown. Marisfrog Pavilion. Designed by the architectural firm Architecture Studio, but heavily influenced by Antoni Gaudi's biomorphism style. Viewed from above, this formation resembles giant leaves, butterfly wings, or the scales of a prehistoric reptile. There are no straight lines. Everything is curved, wavy, and interwoven. Futuristic in design, yet clad in millions of recycled ceramic stone and glass shards. The project took approximately 15 years to complete. While China is famous for building highways in weeks and skyscrapers in months, Marisfrog is a luxuriously slow, low note. Phoenix Center, positioned at the southwest corner of Chaoyang Park in Beijing, featuring a 65,000 square meters floor area and a height of 55 meters. The design is inspired by the Mobius strip, combining it with a distorted torus to create a giant hovering spiral. With a 100% local design team, it eschews foreign celebrity architects, unlike so many other iconic projects. In addition, the asymmetrical steel structure, expansive interior, and seamless spiral staircase evoke a sense of infinite space. integrates diverse functions: television studio, office, exhibition, space media production. It represents Beijing's race to create iconic architecture to assert its soft superpower status.